In a time of generally decreasing footfall in retail stores, the focus is shifting to creating memorable experiences that draw the customer in and draw them back, as opposed to just selling products. What advice does Yasmin have for retailers wishing to create blended experiences that take that step into the future?
First, this is the most important, and it's probably not even just for blended experiences, but I think the most important is just don't jump to conclusion and solutions right away. Data and research will help you solve for the right problems and unlock the right path forward. And this is the only reason why Nike is successful in the stores that I just talked about. They have invested time and effort into research and data. And I think that what happens a lot, and especially, for a lot of retailers, like you mentioned, the last 2 years have gone through some hard times. But I think what sometimes, during the hard times and during that, we always say that's when innovation can happen. But I think what's important to remember is businesses have to make cuts, they have to make changes. But those changes shouldn't be on jumping to solution faster. It shouldn't be to making assumptions. Use your data, use your customers, because they will give you the answers, and then you will get there faster. You will save money, you will invest in the right areas, and you will grow. I think to that as well, it's, don't be afraid to experiment and fail. Today, people don't expect retailers to have all the answers. They don't expect this absolutely polished, perfect answers. I saw something even the other day that someone had sent me with, I think it was Louis Vuitton, and this is luxury, and they had painted the whole entire store lime green, and they're experimenting. They're trying to kind of bring people in different ways. And I think that that's the thing, is don't be afraid to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also don't be afraid to use your employees, because employee experience nowadays, you might not have the money to absolutely change your system right away or to leverage data, but in employees, they are the face of your company. And the more that they believe in your brand, the more that they believe in your values, the more that they are empowered. One of my favorite examples when it comes to employee experience is Pret. So it was raining one day. I was came inside. I think my umbrella had broke, and they gave me a free coffee, and I was like, no, I'll pay for it. It's fine. They had no idea that my umbrella broke. They didn't know anything, and I had no idea that they were empowered to give a coffee away. And I love that. It's not something that they shouted about. It's not something, their employees are allowed to give, 1 or 2 free things a day. And now that, and how that affects your customers.
100%.
I did not buy coffee at Pret. The only reason why I bought coffee at Pret that day is because there was no other coffee store. I now feel such a connection to Pret because of that one thing, and knowing that they empower their employees that way. So I think don't be afraid to leverage that employee experience and really look at that. And then the last thing is look at your total experience. So we talk about this a lot, but I think that, that is one thing that was so interesting about COVID, is that there were these really interesting, unexpected partnerships that came up.
Mm-hmm.
And so look at your total experience, embrace your external partnerships, really look at your employee experience, look at your customers and what they can bring to the table. It's not it doesn't all have to sit on you. Look out to that ecosystem and look where they can kind of help, so that it is a relationship that you're building. Adam, it's so, a lot of times when we work with brands, especially if they have a footprint, I always, ask, I worked with a bank last year, and I was like, can I go in and talk to your staff, or can you give me the tone of voice of how you, present yourselves to customers? And they're like, why? Because they are at the core of knowing who the customer is at the heart. And I think that's what's just interesting, is with even not just your staff members, but even within customer support, all these live chats and all these stuff, I always go to that department, because it's amazing what they know about their customers. And a lot of times people aren't leveraging the data that they have. Those live chats, those customer support calls, they are every day, all day long talking to customers. They know your customers inside and out. And in even just spending a day with them or even being on calls yourself, you start to kind of realize where there's opportunity for improvement, or where there's opportunity for you to take that relationship and the things that are happening and putting it in somewhere else in the ecosystem of your brand experience.